anger. This is BBC Radio Kent. Good morning. This week we've been meeting the people behind pictures which showcase life in Faversham Creek. Their new and old photos, word pictures and paintings will form part of a public exhibition that takes place on Saturday and Sunday at the Purifier building in Faversham. The project's being overseen by Kent Creative Arts, and people have been contributing their material since July. Let's bring Simon in, Simon Reynolds. Talk to me about your photograph, Simon, because Inika mentioned the fact that often the creek is very empty. Talk me through what we see in your photograph.
It is, and the one thing about Faversham Creek, it winds itself in from the urban form in the town right out to the estuary. So in between, you've got quite bleak and open areas of natural environment. And the picture that we're seeing at the moment was something that was taken in March. And what you see is it captures a mood, I think, of an ambience and solitude that sometimes parts of the creek can give at certain times of the year when the tide is in or the tide is out. And the one thing you remember is how important the creek was to Faversham, and therefore what the view might have been from those navigating in from the estuaries, looking down towards the town, and what you can see there by the actual spire of the church.
The spire of the church really stands out, and it was interesting hearing Inika talking about nostalgia, because when I first looked at our Facebook page this morning and saw your photograph, I thought it was an old photo.
No, it's just black and white. That's what it is, and I think the fact the light is very low, there's a sort of mist in the air, the tide is out, and there's the low light creates a different sort of shade on parts of the landscape. It just picks it out in monochrome than it does in colour.
It just feels terribly nostalgic, more so even than Inika's to me, in a really hankering after an older version of England that doesn't exist anymore.
Well, you're right in some parts, but also it does exist in Faversham. I mean, that character of the creek is there, and that character is part of the town. And so it looks like heritage has disappeared and memory of the past has disappeared, but in fact, that is still alive today in Faversham. I mean, we're so close to being to the urban environment, and a few steps outside, you're back in this protected natural environment where the landscape changes and the feeling can change different times of season.
You've lived somewhere else in Kent that is at times very evocative. You're native of Whitstable. What brought you to Faversham?
Well, there's something very appealing about being by water wherever you are, and obviously living by the sea was one thing. I was an active sports person, sailing and windsurfing since I was young. Whitstable got very busy to get in and out, and I've always loved Faversham, and so I moved down to the creek, and I actually live down by the creek at the moment. So there's that appeal to move somewhere else by water, somewhere that's a bit easier to get in and out of, and something different. There's a more relaxed feeling in Faversham than there is in Whitstable nowadays, as lovely as Whitstable is.
It gets very busy in Whitstable, doesn't it?
It does indeed. It's successful in its own right, but you have to really love the beach to want to be in Whitstable. It's that real draw for people, as the creek is a real draw for people in Faversham.
So do you still indulge in your water sports now in Faversham?
I do indeed, in a different way. I don't windsurf or sail on the creek. Well, there's a lot of people undertaking recreation in kayaks and small boats, but I've got a stand-up paddleboard, so I'll just drop that into the creek and paddle away all the way around from Town Quay round to the Shipwrights Arms and back for a bit of a break.
We were talking to two contributors to this exhibition yesterday, both of whom said they always have their camera with them. Photography is obviously a passion for you. Do you try and make sure your camera's with you at all times?
It's not so much of a passion. It's just I think that wherever you go nowadays, with your phones, there's good quality camera on your phone, so you can just whip that out of your pocket, depending on what the light is and what the mood is, and you can capture that and then just put it up. I mean, I put a number of photos up on the Picture the Creep site, but they capture different things. So I think having a camera is important, whether you're doing it professionally or just casually as a member of the public walking around. So capturing those moods and things is very important, I think.
Really nice to talk to you. Thank you for capturing it and allowing us to show it on our Facebook page. Simon Reynolds and Inika Boholz. Simon has already got likes on his photo. Have a look. See what you make of it. It's on our Facebook page now. If you go to Facebook and look up BBC Radio Kent Official. And if you'd like to go and see the images in the flesh, the public exhibition of these new and old photos and other artworks are on Saturday and Sunday this week, Saturday and Sunday, at the Purifier building, which is in Faversham.